Hey guys, Elizabeth Quinn here again with Elizabeth's Scenes and Scents. Welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to check out my website, which is waftingwonderfulwax.scentsy.us, where I am Liz Quinn, your star Scentsy consultant. So today what I have for you is a scent note spotlight video. I have forgotten to do them for a couple of months on our wonderful holiday category just of spices in general. Now I titled the video Gingerbread Spice and Everything Nice because in 2024, Scentsy has buried us in gingerbread scented wax, which is fabulous. I've been waiting a long time for this. But there will be many subcategories of spice here, so just settle in and enjoy the ride. So let's get started with Gingerbread Hugs, which is the most wonderful bar. It was in Scents of the Season years ago. That's the packaging that I still have here. And I have a club shipment with the current bars that are available only in club because they came with this wonderful warmer, and that bundle just sold out on the first day. But you can get it in club. I've got those 5 bars coming, and I'm actually probably going to swap one of the fresh bars into this old packaging because I am just so kind of emotionally attached to this. I've been holding on to these last 2 cubes of Gingerbread Hugs for several years, hoping to get it back in some way, some form. Thought BBMB was going to be the deal. Now we have it to club and keep forever and forever in the November, and I'm hoping into the December month. For our club subscriptions. So if you think that this bar just sounds amazing and you're going to go on the website and try to find it, unfortunately, because it was only available with the bundle, you would have to get it in club, but it's worth the extra hassle of setting one up even if you just cancel it. So let's just start with this being a sweet, very nice gingerbread scent. It is not too spicy. It is not too weak. It's got enough of sort of a vanilla creamy layer. It kind of smells like a ginger snap. It performs very well, not super long lasting, but bakery's just kind of that way. And it just makes you happy. This is the Happiness Gingerbread Bar. It is wonderful. So I'm going to put that little guy right there. Now the next one is available in the regular catalog right now. That is Gingerbread Pecan Waffles. This is a new release from this year. I love this bar. But this is far more of a waffly bakery scent that just has that little sprinkle of gingerbread spice. It's so good though, you guys. If you miss Droop Waffle Delight, you could definitely replace it with this. This is just not going to be quite as strong, and it does have sort of a pecan, molasses, and gingerbread waffle category type scent instead of just the almost Bath & Body Works pumpkin pecan waffles that Droop Waffle was. It's so good, though. It's so, so nice. So you could do this with the Gingerbread Hugs and alternate warmers if you wanted it to really feel like a gingerbread Saturday morning bake-off. Really good. Now, the next 2 here, they're not gingerbread in the classic sense at all, but they're brand new, and one of them, I'm not sure if we can still club it. I think we can, and the other is the scent of the month for right now. This is called Christmas Cookie, which seems kind of odd when it comes to gingerbread, but this is an equal blend of gingerbread, oranges, and pine trees, and this is my new love from Scentsy. I cannot get enough of this bar, you guys. It's so good. And it does have gingerbread spice, but instead of being super sweet and saturated like the Gingerbread Hugs or even more bakery-ish like the Gingerbread Pecan Waffles, this one has sort of the powdery spices of a spice cabinet, and then you add the orange and the pine. It is to die for. I love this. I know some people are not, but I cannot get enough of this thing. It's so nice. So that would make 1, 2, 3, 4, because we'll talk about the gingerbread cheesecake last, things that are either currently available or were recently currently available from Scentsy that are all gingerbread themed and is kind of funny. So the last one is Gingerbread Cheesecake. This was an October with box exclusive, and I do think you can still add it to club. I'm not sure. So this is like Christmas Cookie. Just take out the other 2 things, the pine and the oranges. And this is a good bar. I am letting it cure a little bit longer. I am kind of going back and forth on how much I want to keep this in my club. I will for a bit because this is just too interesting to get rid of it and then be sad when the exclusive window where you could add it to club is gone. But this is more like a dusty, powdery, again, baking spices with the sharp ginger note kind of a scent to me. I don't get a lot of the creamy or sweetness from the cheesecake part. It's good. It's got me intrigued. It's an excellent mixer. Again, like the Christmas Cookie, it's very good mixed with pine scents like our Christmas tree or maybe the Frosted White Pine from last year. So I'm still monkeying around with those bars. So that is kind of the gingerbread category. But let's move on to some other, and we're going to get into some old bars here. things in my collection that are specific spice subcategories. So here I have 3 that are ginger focused, and I was digging around looking for frosted ginger cookie, which isn't gingerbread like the first couple that I was chatting with you about, but I can't find that. I did take it out of my club. I probably have another bar somewhere. Frosted ginger cookie is super strong, like a chewy ginger cookie, and then you add lemon to it. It is a boomer, and it could be holiday appropriate, but I think the Gingerbread Hugs is more friendly. So then you get into just ginger as a note within bars. Hazelnut frosting, if you've ever smelled it, it has this subtle, beautiful candied ginger on the back end of the bar. It is a beautiful scent. Somewhat subtle, even just the whole bar. But you get that ginger mixed with the hazelnut and the buttercream frosting. This is one of those just exquisite bars that I've kept in my club since it was a holiday trio scent years and years ago now. And it's beautiful. And spices, because we are doing a scent note spotlight thing and I had to kind of get through the gingerbread part first. Spices are a base note for most bars if they're there. They can be a mid note or a top note also if it's all spices, but typically your more bakery notes like your vanillas or your kind of butter cookie accord, things like that, that's going to be more at the top of your scent. And as the thing warms and the different oils release, the spices are always there as the base. And I think that's part of why I could amass so many bars. Part of it's just because I'm a spice nut, but because the spices are the backbone of so many scents, especially for fall winter. So we have a lot here to talk about. Anyway, in this bar, it's all very subtle. It's all very gentle, but the ginger and the hazelnut is on the base, and it's such a good, delectable scent. Now, the next one I'm going to talk to you about is another sort of buttercreamy, happy cookie bakery scent, where the ginger here, I'm not sure if this is a mid note or a base note, and that is our current ginger cookie crunch. This is wonderful, you guys. If you haven't tried this, this is in our holiday 5-bar bundle for 2024. And this is just a happy bar. It's kind of like the hazelnut frosting, and the ginger in here is a little bit more pronounced. This is one of the sweetest bakery bars we've gotten in 2024. It's just a nice, really good cookie with the ginger and the butteriness and the vanilla. It's really yummy. So I would encourage you to try this. It's not incredibly strong, kind of like if you have any experience with hazelnut frosting. Those two I like to melt together now in alternate warmers because they're both just sort of mellow and bakery and nice. Now here is my favorite bar of all time from Scentsy, and it is a spice bomb, but the note that makes this its own bar, that makes it its name, which is Cozy Fireside, is ginger. So Cozy Fireside is all the spices, and we're going to talk about a couple other classics where it's such a blend of spices. A certain one is what Scentsy claims is in it, but they're all there. So that's definitely what you've got going on with this. This brings me back to my childhood. This bar smells like a 1980s red drippy Christmas candle with the, we put the little carolers or the little figurines on either side, and you've kind of got, back in the 80s when things weren't as aesthetic as they are now. You'd kind of crumple the tinfoil underneath it to catch all the drips. They smelled like this. Oh, it's so good. So you've got the really heavy ginger, and you have almost an embery warmth to this beautiful bar, and it just smells like the soul of Christmas. I don't know how to explain it to you unless you have smelled this. It's just amazing. Oh, my favorite thing ever, ever, ever in the whole wide world is Cozy Fireside. So now we're going to move into things that are clove or mixed spice based, where you're going to think really heavy fall winter. So one that was also in the Sugar Chalet bundle you can also put in your club is Goody Gumdrop. Now this is far more candy holiday, but it's got those spices, and the one that I smell the most in here is probably clove. I'm not sure because they don't actually tell us, but it's got some cinnamon and it's got some clove for sure. So I put it in this pile, and this, if you want another nostalgic scent, this doesn't quite have the depth of Cozy Fireside, but it's kind of the same generation. It smells like an older style spicy gumdrop. It really and truly does. So this one has that wonderful old school soul. Get some of this. If you just want to be happy on Christmas and maybe you can't get Cozy Fireside, you could melt this with Christmas Cottage, which we will definitely be talking about here. Oh, it's so good. but it's got that sweet candy essence too. Now, another one that I've been losing my mind over this last week or so is Mandarin Wonderland, which is clove and apple and spruce. So the clove and cinnamon often travel together, and there will be a lot of bars here in my different subcategories that are clove and cinnamon heavy, but this one, they claim that there's more clove, and it is so good. So the spruce gives it a little bit of what some people are calling a soapiness, which I can understand. You got the apple, and then you had the clove and other spices that just, it gives this mulled, cidery kind of a sense. Oh, and I love this. I just love this. It's so nice. Now, to go way over to the other side of the scale, clove can go into a lot of things that are more exotic. And there's an old bar called Amber Hollow, which is a spice bomb. This is a very fall harvest spice bomb. But you know, there be some clove in this bar. And then there are other spices in here. There's probably some ginger. There might be some cardamom. This is one of those that is so complex. And of course, there's the amber. They call it Amber Hollow. And some sort of a harvesty, pumpkin-y sort of, oh my gosh, this bar. If you're a spiceaholic, which I certainly am, this is a must. And some people hate this. They call it the curry bar. I adore it. So now let's go on to something that is straightforwardly clove heavy. And that is one of the most classic bars. When I was completely out of Cozy Fireside and I could not get it, I would melt clove and cinnamon and just wish it had that extra ginger, because Cozy Fireside is a clove and cinnamon base with all sorts of other layers. But this is always in our fall winter catalog. This is one of my favorite bars of all time. Good old just clove and cinnamon. Clove heavy, because the cloves are more rich. There is a sharpness and almost a bitterness if you overdo clove, whereas cinnamon, it just gets to be too red hot if you overdo it and if it's a bad oil. But to me, Scentsi's clove and cinnamon is truly a masterpiece of properly blended even spice. I love it. You could mix this with other things. I just find this bar to be so perfect that I don't like to mix it. But you could knock it down with vanilla bean buttercream or whatever. But like top 5 bars here that show the excellence of spice, this would probably be my number one. Clove and cinnamon from Scentsy. Now here's one where this is the holiday bar for most people that melt Scentsy. And that is Christmas Cottage. This is my number 2 to Cozy Fireside. And this one, it is fruit forward, but there is clove in here for sure. And subtle cinnamon, but more clove. That's what makes this so nice. When you warm this one up, it really sort of thickens the air in the room. You get the oranges, you get the spices, you get the raspberries. It's so good, you guys. And you just wouldn't have that magic without the spices that are at the base of this bar. So now we're going to move into, we got the clove, we got the cinnamon, we have the gingerbread and the ginger. Another spice that is not very often used is nutmeg. And I do have a couple bars here that are nutmeg specific. The best one is going to be Cozy Spice. This is a beautiful blended spice scent, but it's nutmeg forward and it's more gentle. So if you struggle with spices, if this one ever comes back and bring back my bar, and you just want a spice scent, we're going to talk about Welcome Home eventually. That's kind of like, that is everybody's favorite if you don't like spices, but because I'm a spice lover, Welcome Home is so boring. But I feel like the Cozy Spice is similar in intensity, but much more interesting. It's got this creaminess. Oh, the nutmeg is beautiful. Whatever the blend of kitchen type spices that is in here is, it is so good. And we're also going to talk about chai spice and bakery spice eventually, because there are just so many different ways to do it. But this one reminds me of a nice cup of spiced tea with a little bit of milk or cream running through it. It is so good. Okay, the next one that is nutmeg forward. This is unusual. This is first day of fall. Now this is mostly like a golden woodsy pumpkin scent, but it has nutmeg. And this is where nutmeg goes kind of sharp, because there is something in the nutmeg spice itself, which I like to do certain savory dishes with. My mom would always grate nutmeg, which comes as kind of, it almost looks like a big round nut type thing. And then you take a little special grater. You can get a nutmeg grater. I have one that hangs in my kitchen on a little hook. And you fresh grate your nutmeg. It just makes a world of difference. Anyway, fried potatoes with butter, the salt, the pepper, a little bit of the fresh nutmeg. It's just to die for. They're so good. Try it sometime. I think that's an old-fashioned secret for like 1950s fried potatoes. They're just amazing. But the first day of fall has more of that sharpness of the nutmeg that you get when you would cook with it in a savory way alone. And then it has all of the fall outdoorsy goodness. And then right now, you can still get the September scent of the month, spooky but sweet. This really showcases nutmeg as a spice beautifully. This is a very sweet, almost candy-like fall confectionery scent, and it's got maple, but then it has nutmeg. Oh, it's beautiful. You guys have got to try this. If you haven't, please club this. Please get a stack, because I think at this point they're only giving us 3 months for a scent of the month, and it's going to be going away soon. Do not miss out on this bar. Robin and I are going to be doing a best of the season collab. I think it's going to go up the Monday before American Thanksgiving, and I am so looking forward to it, and you know this bar is going to show up somewhere. It's so good. Okay, next I have cinnamon or cinnamon that is mixed with something very specific. So this first one, this is a unique bar on this table because most things here are sweet or spicy in a way that is, it's more gourmand, it's more holiday. This is none of that. This is Palo, Santo, and Cinnamon, one of the most savory bars on this table. And it's not Christmassy or holiday or anything. This is so unusual. I think it had bergamot also. This is a bar that's been discontinued for a little bit. But somehow the Palo Santo, the bergamot, and the cinnamon give you this very interesting and sophisticated type scent. If you were to think of someone who doesn't want to do anything traditional for Christmas, but they want a scent that's kind of hip, I think this one would work. Not that we can even still get it, but Palo Santo and cinnamon is very unusual. Now, here is your standard cinnamon bar for people who are afraid of spices, and that is welcome home. This to me smells like cinnamon sugar toast. That's the only way I can put it. It's a gentle, sweet, yes, it's cinnamon, but somehow they knock it down a lot, and it doesn't quite have a vanilla. And you know what? I forgot cinnamon vanilla. I might be out of that bar. That should go into this stack too, and that's always available in the catalog. That is an equal part cinnamon and vanilla bar. It is a classic. Yeah, I'm remiss not to have that. I think I just am out of it at the moment. But that would go with welcome home. Between the two, I actually prefer cinnamon vanilla, but both of those are spice bars for spice haters. They're good. They're just not super strong. Now, the next one, to me, is the partner in crime, or the other side of the coin, of clove and cinnamon. That is plain old, wonderful, classic Cinnamon Bear. This bar makes me feel like Christmas. This bar makes me feel like cuddliness in the winter months. It's the best cinnamon. I don't think anybody makes a better classy cinnamon scent than Scentsy. You could put this up against anything. Like Holiday from Bath & Body Works is very similar, and they have a little bit of bergamot to smooth it out, but that candle sometimes even gets to me, and I love my spice. This is never too sharp. It's just gorgeous, saturated, classy cinnamon. Now the next two, these are really cool because this is cinnamon mixed with pine trees and balsam. So right now we have cinnamon pine cones and balsam spice in the catalog. These are gift givable for anyone who loves tree and spice. These smell exactly like an old school type Christmas. Cinnamon pine cones is slightly heavier on the cinnamon. There is kind of a woodsy pine cone and then some kind of a fir balsam or pine or fir, what's the other word I want? Maybe a spruce mixed in. So the tree takes the back seat here, and you get the pine cones and the cinnamon first, but it's just a classic. This was a December scent of the month a couple years ago. I love it. I'm so glad it's been in the catalog since for fall, winter. It's so good. And then this year, they did the flip of the proportions of the notes. Balsam spice, charred cedar wood, beautiful. Oh man, the balsam note, it's to die for. And then the cinnamon and the spices. Oh, between the two of them, I think I might prefer balsam spice just a little bit because I am a tree addict. But, I mean, how could you not love spiced tree? These two together, they are fantastic. So, so good. Okay, now the next one, I could only find 2 bars where I could get this particular spice note for sure in the description. And that is going to be cardamom, which is a more trendy or more Northern European type spice. You see it a lot in Scandinavian cooking. It's beautiful. It's a very unusual, somewhat floral and sharp spice, where most of you are familiar with nutmeg and cinnamon and cloves, but you get into something exotic like cardamom and people can be a little bit confused. The earthiness and the floral quality of cardamom is unusual. So the cranberry and cardamom is available right now. There's cherry and cranberry, and I had to order some of this because I think these are my last 2 cubes, and I have so much wax in this house. You'd think I'd have another full bar of this thing, but this is so nice, you guys. The cardamom just adds a complexity and a smoothness that supports the cherry and the cranberry in a way that makes it interesting, really beautiful. And then here is a really unusual bar. White pumpkin and driftwood. So this one has solar amber, it's got the driftwood, it has the white pumpkin, and then the cardamom keeps it sort of spicy and woodsy. Very interesting. So there is a place in town that makes the most incredible pastry. It's called a cardamom bun. And they want to warm it up, and I tell them no, but this nice place in town will bring you this little white plate with this gorgeous, like, hand-knotted bun with the sugar crystals on it, and it's just cardamom spice in with the sweet roll-type dough. It's to die for. And this has that cardamom in it. It's so nice. All right, now, we're getting into all these subcategories. This is going to be, I think, fall cider or fall-leaning spices. It was getting to be very hard to put these in different stacks so I could kind of keep my mind organized. This is kind of like the Palo, Santo, and Cinnamon. Not really a bakery bar or a gourmand bar. Falling leaves is really interesting with the clove, cinnamon, and patchouli. So really, I probably should have put this with the Palo, Santo, and Cinnamon. I prefer this, though, because this has a ton of warmth. So this is a gorgeous fall or early winter warm scent. The patchouli gives it that warm earthiness. I know I keep using the word warm, but there's nothing else in this bar. None of these notes are anything but warm. They're not really woodsy. They're just warm and spicy, all of those things. And so for me, this is a home run. Like, I should probably melt this today, although it's not really cold enough outside. It's so good, you guys. Oh man, this was in BBMB, and it's a very old bar, and I'm so glad that I've got it. It's in my bi-monthly club, never coming out. Now the next one here, of all the bars on the table, I find this one to be a little weird, but it's current in our Harvest by Bar bundle, so I wanted to talk about it. This is called Cinnamon Woods. This is a very dry cinnamon scent. It's got woodsiness for sure. It almost smells a little bit like there's acorn in here, which is not in the notes, and then there's pear. And I don't hate this because I like all things spice, but this, kind of like the fall bar, which I'm not remembering the name of, that's back here a few. First day of fall. There's just something about this where the woodsiness, I think, messes with the spice for me a bit. But a lot of people are loving this Cinnamon Woods. Let me know if this is one of your favorites that's been in our new Harvest 5 bar bundle. Then here are a couple where they're just kind of all over the map, but they're fall. And this one is Cinnamon Heavy, and it's pumpkin-y goodness. And I didn't put a lot of the like pumpkin bakery bars in here because you could certainly say Pumpkin Cinnamon Swirl is cinnamon heavy. You could say that Farm Stand Pumpkin has cinnamon and caramel. But forever fall, you really do get the cinnamon in with the heavy squashy pumpkin guts. And lots of butter. But the cinnamon is what makes this sing. Without spices, this would not be a very nice bar. But it's so good. Oh, I love this. I gotta melt this too. Like, this would actually be really good with the falling leaves. And then this was the October scent of the month. And this is, again, an odd bar that even though I love chestnut, there is, what is in this one? I think it is cinnamon that's in here. It might be clove. But these heavy spices are underneath a lot of chestnut and vanilla. And this just, it's a good bar. I'm gonna get a couple more, but it sort of confuses me a little bit because it's got, I still get it, even though in the beginning I was so excited about this bar. I get this little bit of almost like a shrimp boil note in here that it must be the combo of the spices, the vanilla, and the chestnut. It's just a little weird, but anyway, a lot of people enjoyed this, and I'm sure you can still get it. That was the October scent of the month. Okay, now, oh, I knew this was going to be a long video. I have apple spice, I've got orange spice, I've got berry spice. Oh man. This is all apple spice, so I think I'm going to speed it up just a hair as far as not spending too much time on any one bar. Toasted apple butter is currently in our scents of the season, and this is a lot of different baking spices with gooey buttery apple, and it's really nice. Always in our catalog is baked apple pie, and this is again, spices done right, but with bubbly apple juices too. like you're baking the apple in the oven. It is lovely. That's one of my favorite, very much overlooked bars that we always have available in the catalog. The next one is called Cashmere Leaves. This is exotic spices. I don't even know what all is in here, but with the apple and sort of a woodsiness. And it's really good. Like, I want to melt that right now too. Then another one, which is current in our Harvest 5-bar bundle, is Apple Spice Season. And this is classic old school apple spice. I hope that they add this to the catalog next year. I was debating on whether to talk about, oh gosh, I don't even know. I think I've got a cider, a whole cider stack here. But what is more appropriate, cider mill or apple spice season? I really think the apple spice season is a little bit more spice forward and very appropriate in our spice discussion here, because it just takes your classic idea where maybe you just go to the grocery store and get an air freshener, elevates it, of course, and then puts that into that bar. It is perfect apple spice. Then another one, which you have to talk about when you talk about cinnamon and spices and apples, is Autumn Hearth, and then you add tonka bean, and this is so warm. It's so smoldery, and it is a fantastic apple spice bar. And then last but not least is the one that to me is the least cinnamony in a warm and cozy sense. It's more tailored, almost more savory cinnamon. That is Apple and Cinnamon Sticks, because this has oak and white pumpkin also with the apples. So it's almost more of a potpourri type apple, and something that is appealing to people, again, if you just don't like all those warm spices. So then, next, I don't think I have any duplicates here. Citrus or orange spiced scents. And this isn't even all of them. I just gave up after a while because I'm like, I definitely have enough here for Exhibit A. Okay, and orange spice is one of my personal favorite things. That's why I collect so many things of this nature in my club. They're so good. Now, Mandarin Moon, I don't have anymore. I clubbed it for quite a while. This smells like orange spice harvest tea to me, and it's so good. This has a lot of ginger. I think this might have some anise. This has all of the good spices, but it's definitely ginger forward, but also very orange heavy. And it's a boomer. It's a really good fall scent. It would be very good for now in November if you have this at all. Really excellent. My friend Robin keeps supplying me with those now that I'm not doing it anymore. Here's a scent where you have the cinnamon and you have blood orange and you have fir needle, and it makes one of those perfect combinations, and that is Homestead Holiday. Oh, you guys, it's so nice. So this isn't citrus or spice forward like the Christmas cookie. It's a perfect blended bar, stronger than Christmas cookie. This is one that a lot of people have to have at Christmas time. If I had to choose, now I just said how much I love the new Merry Wonderland, and I used it as an example that I would even get rid of Homestead Holiday to keep it. Not that I will ever get rid of either one, but the Homestead Holiday, this is just such a Christmassy scent that it just makes me so happy. And I was totally going somewhere else with this, and now my train of thought's gone, but it's so good. So that's a good way to end that one. Now, here's a bar which trumps probably both of the other ones I even just talked about, and that is Sweet Orange Pomander. This is the best super strong spice bomb bar with citrus I've ever smelled in my life. It's heavy. It's very much like Welcome Home from Yankee. It's all the good things if you are into heavy hitting spice and dried oranges. Oh, it's amazing. So Scentsy does a really good job with the strong spice bars, and that is one of my favorite categories of all time, so I'm always a very happy customer. Another one which is lighter on the spice but is still orange spice is Wasel Wonderland. Now this adds a little bit of Christmas tree, like some almost like some little spruce bits sprinkled throughout the kitchen with your oranges and everything. It's so good. So this is another one that was Scents of the Season for a long time. I think people got kind of burned out on it. It's been in clearance here and again for several years. I have a stockpile of it. It seems to multiply like gremlins downstairs. And I now have so many different wax scents that are Christmassy that I'm not going to cry if I melt my last bar of that, but it's really good. Sips of cider, more ginger heavy with some cranberry and some blood orange and some orange. This one's a little bitter, not my favorite, especially when you compare it to all the others that I just showed you. Then currently, we have a really nice grapefruit and orange spice, and that is Holiday Market, and this I think has allspice. And here's another one where I couldn't build a pile. I think this is the only bar I know of in this whole thing where allspice is the spice that is highlighted. You get allspice in a lot of Jamaican cooking, a lot of Caribbean cooking, things that have jerk seasoning. It's a really good note, and it's something that I think we in American kitchens overlook, but it's gorgeous in that bar. And then sparkling spice citrus, I promise we're at the bottom of the orange pile. This one's current in our Harvest 5-bar bundle. The Holiday Market is in the Holiday 5-bar bundle. But this one is so good. This is probably my favorite orange spice scent that's lighter and fruitier rather than spice saturated. This has a touch of clove. Oh, you guys, it's so good. It's so, so, so good. So that's a whole bunch of bars. We still have a couple more categories to go. So here's a really interesting one, and that is going to be berry spice. There's a whole bunch here, and I really had to think about this category because I almost forgot to pull these. Dancing sugar plums, I have no idea which spices are in here, but it's apple and plum and spices. And it was in our catalog for quite a while. It's so homey. This is one that I hope someday will come back for Bring Back My Bar for people. Another one is Joy and Wonder. Now, these are incense spices. This is things I can't even really describe, where this and then the spiced berries that's in here, it's more like frankincense and myrrh and exotic spices that are not in your kitchen for real. It's more perfumery or even embalming, if you want to talk about the story of baby Jesus and the wise men, which is what spiced berries always reminds me of, because they brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh, which was prophetic of his death, burial, and resurrection, you know, in the Christmas story and the resurrection Easter story. But anyway, Joy and Wonder is very similar. This smells totally like a Catholic church at Christmas time. It's gorgeous, so mysterious and beautiful, very incensey. Blackberry Spice is more of your kitchen or potpourri spices with blackberry and cedar. And it's beautiful too. So the berries, when you add wood, berries, and spices, you really get things that are more exotic, sometimes homey, but they do kind of pull in a more cathedral or religious direction for people where that's your association. You just smell it when you smell these bars. So the next one, you've got your spiced berries, which I just told you all the things about this. This is probably my Christmas Eve scent for that reason. And it's beautiful. Oh, it's so good. The frankincense and the myrrh and the berries, it's like to die for. Okay, and then a little bit less serious here, candied cranberry pecan. This one is spices, brandied plum, and the cranberries and the pecans. And it's just happy. This is very Thanksgiving. It was in our catalog for a while. I got a few bars in a flash sale. I'm almost done with them. I'm giving one away to a friend. But it's just so good. So again, this is no one spice, but they're the deeper spices, the more resinous spices, sometimes more exotic that you see with your berries. And I have sugar plum berry too, but I wasn't sure if that had a lot of spice in it. So many bars we could talk about here. Okay, now, bakery spice. Good old-fashioned chai and cinnamon roll type scents here. And again, this isn't even all the ones that I could talk about. It's just the ones that I could pull in a reasonable period of time or that I wasn't out of. So currently we have this Disney Mickey Mouse Cinnamon Bun Bash. It says there's cinnamon in here, but there are other weird spices in with this. I don't even know what they are. And this is heavy with the vanilla. To me, it's almost like there's some fennel or some anise or something in here with the cinnamon, which is a little weird, but I like it. It's warm and gooey. Then on the other end of the bakery scale, cinnamon buttercream, which is a retired bar. This is beautiful. And this is the light sweet cinnamon with mascarpone, cream cheese, cake. Is so good. And then I could have put churro. I mean, this video would have been so long if I did every single bar I could think of. But this covers the light bakery. The best performing cinnamon roll scent we've ever made. Sticky cinnamon bun. This is a bomb of cinnamon and vanilla in a bakery sense. It's one of my favorites. This is one I like to melt in mid-January and early February when I'm feeling sad. It's just home and hearth all year round goodness. Then we get into the chais, which, we had two. I have the one in my club, we'll never take it out, and the other one was in our catalog, and it was also a harvest bar at one time, and that's retired now. But cozy chai. This is up there with cozy Fireside or Christmas Cottage for me, or Gingerbread Hugs for an authentic, gorgeous, always in the mood for it spice scent. This is creamy. It smells like a gingerbread latte to me. It's so good. It's thick, it hangs in the air beautifully, and it scents the room for days. Then another one that's a runner-up for me is pumpkin chai. This is very nice. It's a little sweeter, a little more gentle than your cozy chai. A little smoother with the pumpkin, but very similar. Okay, what do we have left here? I have some Oddball bars. I think I'm just going to skip the cider. I'll name them, but you get the point. Jack's Obsession, Bright Cider Life, Orchard Apple and Spice, and Cider Mill. Those are all very cidery, sort of woody or just gently spiced apple scents. Those are all great for the fall. But I have some Christmassy, spiced cidery scents, and this is an unusual category. Spiced Ember Glow. This one's kind of hard to peg. It's very deep, could almost go in the spiced berries, but it's apple. It's got like smoked apple and vanilla and hearthy. This is clove, like the cloves have been lit on fire. Embersy, really deep, and even for me, this one's almost a little bit bitter. The clove push is so dark, but it's good. Then another one that's quite unusual is Hemway. So this is actually almost cologne spicy with the apples and the wood. It's so good, you guys. Oh, this makes me smile. This, when I've done literary melting basket videos, which I'm kind of out of ideas and time to do many more of those in the future. I might do Little Women at some point. I don't know, but this always reminds me of Pa Ingalls, and I've used that bar for a few other really nice reliable male roles when I'm discussing those different stories and videos with you. Here is a bar where nobody ever smells the cinnamon in it, and that is snowberry. There's peppermint, loganberry, cinnamon, strawberry in here. But it's there, and it gives just a little bit of a zing with the peppermint. And then here's another one that's unusual, cinnamon, which is a very odd bar. It's gum, almost like big red gum, cinnamon and peppermint, 50-50. Very unusual and strange. So then, because this is November, I wanted to end with a pile of just really, really nice cider scents that are very Christmassy. The first one is mulled cider and spice, and I mean, if you want to talk about a scent that's going to blow out your windows, this is high octane, at the punch bowl, with lots of apples, lots of spices. There's something so volatile about this bar. I love it because it's like gloriously over the top. But a lot of people, it's just like, yeah, I'm not melting that because it's gonna give me a headache. Another one, which is slightly more well-behaved, was last year's Holly Jolly Cider. Really nice. Spiced apple with a little bit of tree. It's just pretty and it's smooth. I love all cider scents because there's this beautiful exchange of the apple with the simmery spices, and it always makes your house smell so happy. So that one's distinctly Christmassy. Then this year, it's pomegranate lemon and spices for our cider scent, and that is wrapped in lights. I like it. I think I prefer the holiday market, and I definitely prefer apple over pomegranate and lemon for my spiced punch. But this is still very good and an excellent performer. And then I almost forgot about this oldie but goodie. And orange spice and everything nice could have gone in here too, but I also was, getting that stack of orange and spice bars so tall, I'm like, I don't need it. Crimson Berry Christmas. I'm not sure what spices are in here. It shows cinnamon sticks on the cover. But this is similar to 'Tis the Season, which is one of Bath & Body Works' best Christmassy scents, and this bar, or brick, really, really points us toward the holidays. So if you guys have any of this and you haven't melted it in a while, don't forget about your Crimson Berry Christmas and your Sweet Orange Pomander and all those where you might have your bricks buried. Get them out. Enjoy them from Thanksgiving through to Christmas. So this is Elizabeth with Gingerbread Spice and Everything Nice, signing off. I hope that you have enjoyed this spice video. If I forgot your favorite spice bar, please put that down in the comments below and let me know what it is, because I feel like I've covered as much as I could possibly think of today. Have a great day, guys. God bless. Bye-bye.